Hey everyone, Mike Burke here with InsideRealEstatePhotography.com, and just recently the specs and some photos of the upcoming DJI Mavic 3 Pro have leaked, and I have to say, it's some pretty exciting stuff. As someone who flies the Mavic 2 Pro on almost a daily basis for the last 3 years since it was released, I have to say I'm excited for there to be a refresh coming for the Mavic Pro series, and the specs don't disappoint. In case you were unaware of these leaks or haven't seen the specs yet, I wanted to make this video to share them with all of you and also share my personal thoughts on them as well. The Mavic 3 Pro will undoubtedly be a very popular choice amongst real estate photographers, so I think this subject is definitely worth discussing here on this channel. Alright, without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright, so let's talk about the specs of this new drone. First of all, let's talk about the camera. The camera is the most important part to me because most important to me is image quality, so that's paramount. So there's two cameras included in this drone. There's a telephoto camera and the wide angle camera. This is really awesome and totally unexpected. I wasn't expecting this to come from the Mavic 3 Pro, but basically it's like the Mavic 2 Zoom and the Mavic 2 Pro combined into one drone. So you can't physically zoom in with the zoom lens, it's just a fixed telephoto, but it's still a cool feature to have, even though the sensor is a lot smaller for the telephoto lens than it is for the wide angle. Speaking of the sensor size, this is probably the most exciting upgrade to me from an image quality standpoint. The Mavic 3 Pro will have a micro 4/3 sensor, which is bigger than the 1-inch sensor in the Mavic 2 Pro. This is exciting because it's the same sensor size as you would find in like the mirrorless Panasonic GH5, for instance. So this is huge because now you're seeing the sensor size from a professional mirrorless camera like the GH5 inside of a small little drone like this. The only other drones that have this sensor size is like the upscale Inspire 2 series Zenmuse cameras. So this is like a huge upgrade. Who knows in the future how big we're gonna get with these sensors, but this is really exciting news. So the sensor size in the telephoto camera is a 1/2-inch sensor, which is not very huge, but it's the same sensor size as you would find in the Mavic 2 Zoom or a lot of other DJI drones, and it has decent image quality. So I'm not too sure how much we as real estate photographers will use the telephoto camera in the drone, but it is a cool feature to have, especially for like videos, shots here and there where you can get a lot of parallax effect with it because it's a telephoto lens, so you'll get a lot of movement between foreground and background elements. So the Mavic 3 Pro cameras will have the variable aperture from f2.8 to f11, which is great. I love being able to change my aperture and control my exposure more. That's my biggest gripe with the Mavic Air series because it has a fixed aperture. Also, the main wide angle camera is 20 megapixels, same as Mavic 2 Pro, and the telephoto is 12 megapixels, which is the same as the Mavic 2 Zoom, I think. So those are all the same. So another cool thing is that the Mavic 3 Pro wide angle camera is a little bit wider than what was on the Mavic 2 Pro, apparently. It's an 84-degree field of view, which is equivalent to a 24mm lens, as opposed to the 28mm lens equivalent on the Mavic 2 Pro. So we get a little bit wider of a field of view, which will come in handy for sure. And as far as the telephoto camera goes, it's a 15-degree field of view, or equivalent of 160mm. So the other big exciting upgrade to me for the Mavic 3 Pro is the battery life. So they're claiming 46 minutes flight time, which is insane. I know that's an overstatement always by DJI, never is as long as they say, but they stated that the Mavic 2 Pro flight time was 31 minutes, so that's just a significant increase. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get well over 30 minutes, maybe 30 to 35 minutes on a battery flight time, and that's just awesome. You won't have to buy as many batteries. Like I have 5 batteries from a Mavic 2 Pro. I think I would probably only need like 3 for the Mavic 3 Pro, so that will save you some money for sure. So beyond the upgrades to the camera system and battery life, there have been upgrades to the vision sensors and intelligent flight modes, things of that nature. It's nice to know that they upgraded the vision sensors. I don't use them personally. I turn them off when I fly because I like to fly close to trees and houses and stuff doing real estate, very carefully of course. I've been doing this a long time. But if you are new and you are relying more on the vision sensors, that's good to know that they have been improved. So we can talk about the controller as well. There's a basic controller, and there's also a new version of the smart controller supposedly coming out, hopefully at launch with the drone, because I'd really like to buy that along with the drone. I've been using the basic controller for the Mavic 2 Pro. Previously, I had the Phantom 4 Pro with the built-in screen and everything. It's such a nice thing to have like the smart controller with the built-in screen and everything, so you're not relying on your phone. I've had issues with that with this drone, so it's annoying. I used to have a Crystal Sky monitor. That was annoying too, so I stopped using it and sold it. So the big apparent upgrade with the controllers is DJI's new version of their OcuSync technology, which is how they connect the drone to the controller. The signal is supposed to be a lot more robust. It has 10 miles of range, which is just ridiculous. We're not flying our drone 10 miles away, obviously, since we're keeping our eyes on it at all times. But it's nice to know that there's a more robust signal there and we should have less signal issues. So real quick, let's talk about the appearance of the new Mavic 3 Pro based on the leaked photos. It looks pretty similar to the Mavic 2 Pro. Definitely looks beefier. It looks like a beast actually. It looks pretty mean. I think it's a little bit bigger and heavier than the Mavic 2 Pro, but not by much, but a little bit. The battery slides into the back now instead of clipping on the top like this drone. I actually like that because this clip, sometimes like I always worry about it. There's a couple times where I flew where I got a warning on my screen that my battery wasn't clipped in right, and this just seems to be easier to fall out than something that would slide in and clip in the back. So I think that's a cool upgrade as well. So finally, let's talk about the release date and price of the new Mavic 3 Pro. This is all speculative, of course, but it's been corroborated by many websites. So I think the information is pretty reliable, that it will release on November 15th. There'll be 3 configurations you can buy. There's the basic, which is the controller and drone for $1,600, which is the same as what the Mavic 2 Pro was. And also there'll be the Fly More combo with the carrying bag, 3 batteries, extra propellers. I'm not sure what the price will be, but probably the same as what the Mavic 2 Pro Fly More combo was. So thirdly, there's a high tier option they're calling the Cine model, which apparently has a built-in SSD hard drive and a high data transfer cable to get the data off onto your computer. So you won't have to use mini SD cards, and that's pretty cool. It will also come with the new version of the Smart Controller. This is expected to be priced high twos, around $3,000, so pretty pricey. And I don't know if it's completely necessary for us to have that as real estate photographers. You know, I'm sure the regular model is fine, but it is cool upgrades, and it comes with the Smart Controller, so that's built into the price as well. All right guys, so that's pretty much all the information we know now about the Mavic 3 Pro, which is actually a lot of information. I'm very excited about this information. How do you guys feel about it? Please leave a comment below. I'm definitely gonna be ordering one of these drones immediately. My Mavic 2 Pro has been a great, reliable drone. It's been fantastic, like a tank. I use this day in, day out, like I said. I don't even know how many flight hours I have on this thing. It's been used so much, but it's been a great drone. I'm just excited to upgrade it now, finally, after 3 years. It's time, I think, for an upgrade. So I'm definitely gonna be buying one of these. Will I buy the high Cine model? I don't know about that. I do want the Smart Controller. We'll see, I haven't decided, but I'm definitely gonna be buying the Mavic 3 Pro immediately, no doubt about it. Will you guys be buying it? Leave a comment below. All right guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I really appreciate the support. It really helps this channel grow, and I appreciate all of you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again on the next one.